Okay, can I please have your full name?
Yeah, my name is Min-Suk Cho, but I can go with Michael.
Okay, nice to meet you, Minsok, Michael. Yeah, since it's summer, let's talk a bit about the weather. What do you think about climate change nowadays?
Oh, the climate change. I'm kind of experiencing the climate change, which is kind of serious, and I think we should take serious on, because I can really experience the difference in summer between like 10 years ago and current these days. So like 10 years ago, the summer wasn't this hot, and I don't think this summer wasn't that humid. But now I can feel the difference. It's more extreme, and it's getting hotter and hotter, and I feel I'm sweating more.
I see. What's the weather like where you live?
So I'm currently living in Dongjak province, which is located in Seoul. So I don't think there's a like big difference inside Seoul, but if I jump down to like Daegu or some of these southern cities, I feel like it's much hotter than Seoul. So in that areas, I think the climate change influence is getting more serious and crucial. So like you mentioned about the climate change, is I think we need to really consider deeply and make a more constructive debate on that.
I see. Talking about preferences, do you like hot or cold weather?
I personally prefer colder weather, which is winter, like because first I don't sweat, and second it's much more cooler, and the thing is, if I want to keep my temperature in a stable condition, I just can just wear more clothes on, and but in summer I cannot put off the clothes even if it's hot because it's outside. So I personally prefer winter more than summer.
I see. Do you prefer dry or wet weather?
I prefer dry weather because the wet weather makes me sweat, and I really hate sweating outside. So I personally prefer the dry weather, which prevents me over sweating.
Okay. Are you in the habit of checking the weather forecast?
Yes, so the place I'm studying is not in Korea, so I always check the weather forecast before I leave my dorm or accommodation. So that makes me prevent to be wet because of sudden rain, and that makes me prepare what to wear for the day. So I always check the weather forecast before I leave the dorm.
I see. Would you like to visit other countries that have different climates from where you live?
So compared to Korea, I want to visit Iceland because, like as you know, Iceland is much more colder than Korea, and I want to experience how colder it is compared to Korea. So I want to go there and experience the difference of the climate between the Korean and Iceland.
I see. We mentioned your name earlier. Does your name have any special meaning?
I don't think so. I think I asked my parents whether my name has special meaning or not. Maybe I don't remember, but I don't think there's like a big special meanings on my name.
I see. How would you choose names for your next generation?
If I get a chance to decide the name for my next generation, probably I think I'll just follow one of the most favorable way that most Koreans do, like some go to other institutions and get some like inquiries about the names that I can choose or give to my next generation, or decide with my like future wife,
Wives?
sorry, wife for like what will be the best name for our next generation.
I see, I see. Is there a difference now between how Koreans name their children versus in the past?
So what I know in the past, I think most of the parents, like older generations, they went to other institutions or some of the other like external sources to get their names like inquiries, or like the names that are more have a good meanings. But now I think they're more inclined to choose the pure Korean name. So like in the past, I think many Koreans or many conservative parents tried to use some of the mix of Chinese languages Chinese characters, I would say. But now I think some of the parents are trying to choose some of the pure Koreans that doesn't mix any Chinese languages. So in the identification card, their name next to our Korean, they maybe have one like Chinese character for like the first name, the parent's name, but sorry, last name. But the first name, I saw some of my friends who use the pure Korean name. So I think the difference I would say is whether they use mix of Chinese languages or characters or not.
Okay, let us move on to part 2. So I'm going to give you a minute to just prepare. Excuse me, just want to find the right page here. So the question is, describe a person you regularly follow on social media. So, yeah, you may start. Okay. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, you may start.
Yeah, so the person I regularly follow on social media is called the Countryside Mouse. So she's an influencer related to like finance area. So I started to knew her since I was in the army, which is the period when I got started to get interest in how to save the money and how to invest or like how to wisely utilize the money. So that's how I started to knew her during the army, and I knew her from the YouTube, not from the like social media like Instagram or Facebook or stuff. And she usually posts about like short videos, such as like the important factors on saving the money or investing the money. And on the YouTube, which is like with the long form video, she includes some of the long descriptions or some of the more deep explanations on why she mentioned this kind of ways to invest or utilize the money. And yeah, so these kind of ways and more deep explanation are included in the long form videos on the YouTube.
Okay. Could you tell me a bit more about her types of videos and the advice that she gives?
Oh yeah, so the one video I can imagine now is about the credit card preference. So it was a time I was considering to make a new credit card, and I saw her YouTube channel, and that made me decide what credit cards to use and make another one. So that's the one video I can imagine right now, and I think she's really good at explaining stuff to either not novice like beginners and some of the experts. So I think she's a really good influencer or a YouTuber who can explain many financials or money things.
Okay, good stuff. So yeah, let's keep talking about this sort of topic. Do you think it's easy to make friends on social media?
Compared to old days, I think it has been much more easier to make friends on social media because there are many advertisements of applications that makes friends within the neighbors by using the location preference from the smartphones or stuff. So with using the advantages of smartphone utilities or some components, I think it has been much more easier to make friends from the social media.
I see. Do you think people will read paper newspaper and books in the future?
Even though there are many more increase in the demands of the ebooks or some of the electronic readers, I think there will still remain decent amount of paper books and paper newspaper because, like, I don't know, you may know, but there are a little bit difference on reading the same stuff in electronic devices and paper, like the touches or some of these things, right? So even though there may be some transitions on like demands or stuff, I think the paper things will remain stable.
I see. Are non-social media like television and newspapers still useful?
Yes, I think they are still necessary and it is really useful because many older people are more inclined to TVs or some of the traditional media. So it's really necessary for not only for the older people, but also for the younger people to be exposed to wide variety of the contents or stuff. So TVs and so the old traditional media, I think they are still useful and is necessary for the future.
I see. Do older people spend a lot of time on social media?
I think so because for me, when I get some of the free time, I frequently go into the social media app, even though I don't have any purpose or what I'm looking for. So maybe this can lead to addiction, but this means that there are more demands and more people who are looking for social media. So I think more people these days with the advanced smartphones, I think people are using more social media these days.
That includes older people as well?
I don't want to say it includes all the people, but I will say most people who
Okay.
uses the smartphones and who are interested in like people doing stuff or what other people's or like friends are doing, like people who are curious about that. I think for those people especially, I think they will be more into social media.
I see. Do older people and younger people use the same kinds of social media, or do they use different types?
I think they're using the different types. I don't have like big evidence on what generations use what platforms more, but I would say like the platforms that older generations use and the younger generations use, I think they show the difference in the social media platforms.
I see. Then lastly, what can people do on social media?
There are many things to do, like basically just post the photos or post the videos, what they have done or what they want to show. And these days, there are many more creative stuffs that we can post on, like stories, like the moments that we can show for like the 24 hours. And like the short forms may be the another example that made a big transitions on social media, right? Like showing the contents within the minute that shows not only just the big deep contents, but also the like giving the information in a short term, which is maybe crucial for busy modern people. So these things I think are the things that social media is giving to us.
Okay, yeah, let's call it there. Okay, so in our grading scheme, we look at 4 different things. So we're going to look at your fluency and coherence, your lexical resource or your vocabulary, your grammar, and your pronunciation. I think what might affect your fluency and coherence score is the fact that in your part 2 question, you stopped after a minute. I had to ask you to talk more.
Oh, yes.
So again, your stricter examiners might leave you alone. They might just call it there and then. So I think that might unfortunately affect your score quite a bit. Some of the answers were also a bit short. I think these questions are not necessarily things you talk about in daily life. So you might not always have an idea how to answer these questions. But I think from today, I think some of them were a bit too short. Vocab, I liked it when you use certain words like crucial, utilize. Those are good level words. I think that will make sure that your vocab score at least is in a good band. Grammar-wise, there were a few mistakes that kept like popping up. For example, I think you used phrases like currently, these days, much more cooler, much more colder, started to new, the influencer. I think there was also a phrase that was a little bit confusing to me, like in the past, older generations would, I think you mentioned they would go to an outside institution and they would get their names increased. I wasn't quite sure what that meant. So again, your stricter examiner might be quite focused on those points. They might feel that it prevents you from reaching a certain band. As for your pronunciation, I didn't have any big issues with that. I think your pronunciation is quite good. There were no real moments where I wasn't sure what you were saying or when it wasn't possible to understand you. So I'd say that was quite good. In part 3, I think we were slightly confused about one of the questions. I was asking, do older people spend a lot of time on social media? But I think you maybe misheard and said, do all the people?
Oh, I think I misunderstood.
So I think that was also something that, again, your stricter examiner might not let it slide. So I would give you a range of scoring between 6 to 6.5 for this. I think, unfortunately, because part 2 was a bit short, some of the answers were a bit short, that's holding you back in terms of fluency and coherence. Your grammar mistakes, they're not affecting my ability to understand what you are saying. However, if you can improve on that, your score will go up at least an extra band. So I think you can move up from the 6 range into the 7s by addressing those issues, giving a bit longer answers, and also fixing the grammar mistakes that persist. But yeah, any questions from your side?
I don't think I have questions for now.
Okay, cool. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
Thanks.